Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is Foxworth Friday. Domonique Foxworth, what's going on?
Chilling, man. Enjoy. I got to see you live and in person.
That's right.
It's been a good week.
That's right. I ain't gonna lie, boy. We was posted up having a good little conversation, and the dude at the table next to us was like, "Excuse me, I just wanted to tell you brothers how much you inspire us." And I'm sitting here like, "Damn, I hope you wasn't being nosy."
Yeah, well, we wasn't being too loud. We turned the volume down, and
yes.
he obviously recognized it. He was sitting right next to us. The tables were close to each other, and he ain't say nothing until he was getting the check, which generally I respect that. It's like I want to tell y'all I recognize y'all, but I didn't want to make it awkward. Yeah, but I would appreciate if you made it awkward. So I could have curtailed my high level shit talk.
That's what I was about to say. And I ain't seen the homie in a minute, dog. We had a lot of levels of things to talk about that I wouldn't want nobody to hear me discuss. Right? Gosh. But nah, we here. A lot going on. We got Olympics. We got football. Domonique is a track dad now. Was that like, because I'm assuming you ran track in high school, right? You was just you were so selfish. You were so fast, and you would not contribute that to the fast team. You only would be fast for the thing that you thought would get you money.
I hated it, man. I ran JV track my freshman year, and I was like, we just running just to run. Like, there's no touchdown. And also, like, we had this conversation over lunch. My school was new. And we had only had a football program for 2 years before I got there. The track program had just started, and there was just teachers coaching us. I wasn't getting no coaching. We was running in the hallway, and the guy he said he ran cross country in high school, and he was a track coach. I was like, this is a waste of my time. I'm gonna go see if I can find some ladies to hang out with. That's what it was. There was football season, and then there was girls season. Those are the only 2 seasons I participated in when I was in high school.
So. And I've talked about this before, but I'm more or less 2 years younger than the people in my grade. Like, not everybody, but I skipped a grade, and my birthday's 5 days before the switchover date, right? So I'm basically a year younger there. So athletically, that affected some things, right? I actually had a decent speed situation going on, but I'm out here running against people 2 years older than me, or in some cases, 3 years older than me. You know, not everybody grew up in the same house. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I could get out there, run different years. I could, it fluctuate a little bit. But, I was middle of the road on the running. But I was like you, man, running as its own activity with nothing else around it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You got to be kidding me. When I was in 8th grade, because I'm from Texas, the high school coaches had come down. They heard our year had a bunch of talent in it. And so the high school coaches was coming into what was in effect like PE class to scout out the talent, right? I mean, they had us out there running through the tires. That ain't
the most Texas shit I heard in my whole life.
And bro, this is in like March. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, 8th grade, but to be fair, like by 8th grade or whatever it is, cats is playing. It may have been 7th grade, but whatever it was like they had heard that we had some ballers. And so they came to see what was crack. Okay. And I'll never forget, apparently I was good at the run through the tires, right? We get your knee, the high knee joint, and you go through. I was good at that. And the coach asked me if I wanted to come out for track because he thought I would be a good hurdler. I didn't even give that a moment's thought. Like, I'm supposed to stay after school and we just gonna run? Like, look, I remember how hard football practice was, okay? And the hard part for football practice to me was not even so much the contact. It was all this running, all these calisthenics. And you telling me that this is all it is? We don't even get to play football?
To be fair, not to disparage track, as everyone is realizing or being reminded right now, it's fun as hell to watch. Track is terrible to practice. As a track dad, I go to practices and I've been working out with my daughter a lot more. and I do the workouts with her. That's just, it's just like burning all your muscles, and you don't get to like run away from nobody or do no jukes.
Right.
You don't get to have a ball in your hand. It's just, it's terrible.
It's like rather than getting drunk, just getting a headache. Right? Just skipping straight. Just like, oh, it's all the negative parts of the trade, right? Like that's all it is. Like, damn, I'm dehydrated, but I did not have a good time last night. Like that's all this comes down to. No, there was never a time. But track meets, boy. Oh, baby, that's a different situation there. Like, this is something I'm curious about. I don't know. Did you have experience as a young man or as a boy coming up of like watching the Olympics with your pops?
Yeah, I mean, it was on.
Yeah, I mean, because look, the thing is this. Me and my brother have talked about this. There's a set of physical characteristics that me, my brother, and my daddy are all into. And I don't know where my daddy came across it, but me and my brother both know where we came across it. It's because our daddy told us that this is what time it was. And it is heavily molded by watching the Olympics every 4 years, stay out here running track. That molded very much about me in life. Now, I just realized I'm now a professional, so I'm talking about this in general terms in my younger days before I became a professional, and all I saw was athletes. But in high school, going to the track meet, damn, whew.
This is, I mean, it's a sexy ass sport. Like, I feel like it's something that I don't think about that often, but it pops up every now and then. And I mean that literally and figuratively. And it's for no matter which side you are attracted to, this is a sexy ass sport, man. There's no denying it. There's going to be tight outfits on both genders, and everyone is like semi-attractive. It is and when you are in high school, because like you don't know this when you're a boy in high school, but the girls are just as interested as you. So like you don't figure it out, or at least for me, you ain't figured it out till you like end of high school and college. Like, oh, I don't gotta trick them. I just gotta make them comfortable. You know, where you would originally be like, hey, you want to hang out? Right. You don't actually say you have a date. You want to come? Like, you can be pretty direct. And when you go to a track meet, they may not be, or you may not be their type, but they looking. Everybody at a high school track meet is looking to make a friend.
Yes, and I'll just, for the youngsters who don't know this, what you think is a woman's type may be a woman's type. Their types come in many, many, many different varieties.
Right. It's not just about how you look.
Right. It's a what I'm saying is it could be you.
Shoot your shot. They are a much more complicated gender than us, and they will find a way. Just go ahead. This is a good lesson. Part of our conversation just popped back up in my head. But one of the lessons I would give to young people is go deep on first down, man. Go deep on first down. You ain't got to run the ball. Maybe you have to run the ball, but you got to find out. They might be in too high, but you got to check it on first down. You can run it on second down, but first play, air that thing out.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. And also the big one is this. I feel confident saying this. I try not to be too much of this is what women are. This is what women like. You know what I mean? And I ain't no love doctor, but I do know this, man. Women like talent.
Yep.
Be good at something. I didn't realize that when I would go win something at a debate tournament, they were impressed by that. I felt like I just came back like, look who's the biggest nerd.
It don't matter.
No, they were like, ooh, the biggest nerd. Didn't know.
And also, I don't know how old people are who listen to this, but also you should recognize that guys will make fun of everything. Yes. So don't be uncomfortable if you happen to be the biggest debate nerd because guys make fun of you. They gonna make fun of you. I got roasted in my high school because I was good. My friends started mocking me and I wore number 7 in high school and they all blacked out the number 7s on their cell phones. This was back when cell phones had buttons. they blacked out the number 7 on their cell phones and said they was gonna retire my jersey and roasted me for being good. Like good male friends will roast you no matter what. So don't worry about that.
Look at you getting out the hood. I see you, big dog. Way to go. Way to go. Oh, you're not going to jail, huh? Okay.
I don't know if this was on social media or something, but this is in my head right now, where they was roasting somebody for being happy and roasting somebody for getting dumped. It's like, you supposed to be there for your guy. Everybody hurt when they get dumped. You're like, man, you old love sick ass. the nouns that I was going to use are not ones that I want to force Sean to bleep out, but you know what was said.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, though. It's funny you mentioned the thing, though, about like track being a sexy sport. And this explains a lot about track, actually, now that I think about it. Because, like, you know, there's a lot of self-absorption. There's a lot of diva behavior. I was watching the Sprint joint on Netflix. Have you watched that?
Yeah.
I finished it up. I thought it was an interesting watch. I cracked up laughing. Shelly Ann, like, as an alpha female, I don't want a man that's on TikTok. I was like, that is exactly how I would expect Shelly Ann Fraser-Price to see the world. And just throwing it out there, I ain't on TikTok. But anyway, I'm watching these divas. I'm watching the self-absorption. I'm watching it all. And I was thinking about it because the homie Trey came over on Saturday and we watched this the David Bowie doc, the Moon Age Daydream joint on Max. And he was talking about how, and this is like, it starts in the Ziggy Stardust phase of Bowie. So it's Bowie on like full androgynous tilt, right? And Trey is like, yeah, man, he just in his sexy place right now. You know what I'm saying? He's like, so where people, right, they so sexy to themselves that whatever they do, they gonna do it all the way because they just feeling that sexy, right? Like whatever I do is gonna hit because I'm the one that's doing it, right? That is all them track motherfuckers, right? That's every single one of them. Look at them, like the women, the nails, the hair. Like there's a few of them that kind of lay low or whatever it is. But even with the dudes, it is a wall of I'm the sexiest person in this room.
I hadn't realized it, but it feels like there's a correlation with the length of the event and the amount of general arrogance and sexy that you put off. Because
you are correct.
If you think about the women in the 400, they got something to them. They got more to them than the men in the 400. They got more to them than the guys in the 1500 or the 800.
Yes.
But they ain't got shit on them 100s.
No.
The 100s got all the flavor.
No, the hundo is like, look, they only going to be looking at me for a little bit. I'm going to need to make that count.
I hadn't even considered that. That might be like back in the back of their head is like, man, I'll make a splash in these 10 seconds.
Well, you know, the hundo mind games are also interesting, which is generally speaking, you know, like one of my students at Duke, was a track coach for many years. He just graduated law school. Congratulations to the homie. I know he's out here listening and all of that, about to start a new job. But he had talked to me about the mental elements of it that I hadn't really thought of. And like the importance of like, especially for the 100, like being loose, coming off the blocks, the slightest bit of tension. And we talking about tenths, hundreds of seconds. Like that's what matters. And it makes me think of forever, the most unforgettable track event I've ever seen in my life. 2008 gold medal race, 100-meter dash. First time I'd ever seen Usain Bolt. And they going up and down the line for everybody. And then they get to Usain Bolt, who's 6'5", like 215, 220. And they just say his name. And that big old square shouldered lanky dude just does something with his face like this, blah, blah, blah. And then did that bow and arrow thing or whatever it was. And I was like, all right, everybody here's playing for second. What I did not expect to see, of course, was everybody jumped out ahead of him. And then it looked like they were on pause and he got shot out of a cannon. Bow. And he was out of there. But I was just like, can you imagine what it had to be like? Because at that point, I think some of them still thought they could be as good as him.
They knew. That was, you didn't know, you were being introduced to them, but they knew, and they knew what it felt like to be gazelles out in front of that lion, because it wasn't the first time they saw that happen, and they knew that long limbed bastard was not going to get a good start because he never do, and they knew that if they was going to win, they had to get out. They was running for their lives, like, and then he just walked them down, just lazy like, went and got them, big long ass strides.
30 meters from the finish, and he got his arms out, just kind of like he's looking back at him. It was an insurmountable lead. It went from I'm losing to everybody to nobody's going to catch me in like 20 meters.
That has to feel great. Like I was thinking about this the other day where it's like, I was thinking how it can't be that stressful. And this, follow me, this is all in my head at this time, so I know how ridiculous it's going to sound. But my first thought was like, these guys look stressed out. But it's like, I mean, you're just running. It can't be that stressful. And then I started thinking about how the point you were making is a difference in that 100-meter final is a difference in hundreds of seconds.
Yes.
So every little thing matters. So you're doing more than just running. But what if you walked out there, you just knew? That has to feel good. Because no matter what Noah was pretending like he knew, he ain't just know the way that, like Bolt, he just knew. That feels great.
As you talk about like the hundreds of seconds and everything else, okay? If it's basketball, maybe your shot's not falling. You get into paint, you get some boards, you set some screens, you do, you got other things that you can do. I have to be my outright fastest every single time I run. There is no room for an off day because all of these people are ridiculously fast. You and I both watched Sprint on Netflix, watched all 6 episodes. And I noticed as it's going, I'm watching the races and the woman from St. Lucia, Alfred, that won the 100. Mm-hmm. I think she got the silver and the 200. I'm watching her. She's in all of these clips. They ain't do not one interview with her. She ain't get no featuring that I saw any part of. She was just another person out here running the 100, which is to say it got out there, it got rainy, and you got to run your fastest race every single time because somebody who just be in the documentary not really doing nothing going to come out here and get your goal.
She was flying.
Flying.
Calm. Her
she
demeanor.
Dusted them like nobody else was in the zone. Like it's the thing that I say it every 4 years, and I guess I have the option of doing something different about this myself, but there's no way that we can enjoy track and field this much every 4 years. And I believe it's the number one most participatory sport in high school still to this day. And we only do it every 4 years. But if I told you it was a dope track meet right up the road, we would go. Yeah. The Texas relays are a big deal. The Penn relays are a big deal. But in Europe, they care. Yeah. We jump in every 4 years.
We ain't got room for all that other nonsense. We show up when it matters. When they give out them real gold medals, we show up. It matters. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it seems like something that I feel like the barrier for entry for a lot of sports is like understanding the sport. There's nothing to understand. Everybody, yeah, you all been in a race before. That's what we doing. Like it's like a fight. I don't got to explain a fight to people. It's the exact same thing.
Even if you've never been in a fight, you don't have to explain the fight.
Yeah.
What's about to happen? Y'all about to fight. Okay, so what do we do?
I don't need to know no rules.
That would actually be great if there was a person that was like, hey, hold on, one second. Hey, never done this before, man. How'd this go?
No, that is not how it works. The point you were making about the body types in this sport is funny because it always reminds me. You made a couple points, or you said a couple things earlier that reminded me of things from me coming up, where I was at a combine and my dad got weirded out because one of the coaches, I was a high school player trying to get like recruited. One of the coaches,
he said you had a donk.
Yep, one of the coaches told my dad that I had loose hips and a sprinter's booty. And my dad was like, He was like, I don't think you want to go to that school, son. He was talking about your hips and your butt. I was like, Dad, at this point, I understood how it worked. My dad wasn't a good athlete. And he was like, hey, I don't know what they doing over there at that institution, but it ain't a place where you need to go. And I was like, Dad, I mean, that was a compliment. It means that like I could move my hips and I could change the receivers. And I mean, yeah, I'm fast. And without me fully stretching out my speed, the guy looked at my frame and was like, you know what fast guys look like? They got long, thin calves and and butts like that. It was like, all right. Yeah, it's a little creepy, Dad, for this grown man to be looking at a 15-year-old kid like that. But he has gotten it down to a science, and it's creepy no matter how you slice it either way. But
I love that your dad told you, I don't think you want to go to school there, son. Like, even it's like, hey, man, I'm putting you up on game right now. Right? Like he was hitting you with true game, and you had to hit him back with truer game, right? I think it was Bruce Feldman's book, Meat Market, where they talked about like the premium put on ass size in football players. And yeah, it hits you a little weird. Like if the dude had been like, yo, big thighs, big calves, whatever it is, I think we all would have gone there. But until you don't really think about your booty that way, but like your booty is the power center, right? Like that is where it goes.
Ever since that day, I've like been conscious of my booty and other booties, even booties that I'm not interested in. I have to be honest. Like sometimes we're getting ready for a game. I'm checking out booties, not in a way that you think we're checking out booties, but before we had the scouting report, like, oh, can he run? Oh, no, that's a shifty receiver. That's a slot receiver. Oh, there go an X right there. He can fly.
I'm not going to lie. After reading that book, I became aware of this as a thing. And then from there, watching games, and then you just notice this more. It's just like, oh, okay, this is how it goes. And then from there, I was like, damn, they ain't got nothing for us that is analogous to what football is for those who are attracted to men. Like there is no sport that you could watch and they just out there wearing, like, if we as men had women wearing something in their sports like football pants are, like you would be right. We wrong for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? You would be correct. We doing the most.
I feel like you're not watching all the same Olympic events that I'm watching because track.
I mean, okay, no. I mean, more so like I was thinking about like the team sport game, not so much that's much the Olympics, like the things that happen on a regular basis. But even then, like I feel like yes, like the beach volleyball, you kind of got you got what it is, but only in track they really just caring if you fast or not.
Yeah.
They got a clock. In football, they trying to forecast your fast, and they are using your keister to forecast your fast, which means that there is a selection bias where even if these dudes ain't even necessarily they fast, they like, don't worry, he'll get faster. Look at the dunk on that one.
It's true. It's like, because I didn't run track, I didn't know how, like nobody ran past me on the field in college. But I was running, like coming out of high school, they had me listed as a 4.3. I ain't ran no 4.3. When I got to Maryland, I ran a 4.6. And then every time we ran the 40, it was like around 4.5, maybe high 4.4s, because I never learned how to run. But on the field, I could run with everybody. Then I got ready for the combine. That's when I got down to a 4.3. And that's to your point. Like I always had the power center to pull it off and the anatomical needs to get it done. I just didn't know how to start. Once they taught me how to start, you know what it's 4.3 time. And so I imagine that when you are looking to sort through a bunch of players, that's a quick way to do it. You go to your little notepad, you got 100 players, you're like, no ass, I'm good on that. no ass, we ain't got no place for him. No ass. It's like, because you can't overcome that. Ain't nobody on that track, men or women, running no sprints with no ass. It just don't happen.
I also have to say, I realized something as you were saying it, as awkward as it had to be for your dad to have whoever that man was come and say that you had loose hips and a sprinter booty. At least you weren't his daughter.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody matter-of-factly just walked up to you and you had no background in this and was like, gotta tell you, your daughter, them hips look loose and that booty look right.
As I'm watching this, and my daughter is a pretty good track athlete at 13 years old, that's in the back of my mind where like my instincts like, okay, oh shit. It happens 15 times an event where I'm like, okay, oh shit. It's something you gotta get used to. It's the world that we live in.
Yep, this is where it is. Coming up next, we'll talk a little bit of football, but also I have an axiom for life that me and my man Rob were talking about, that me and Domonique just stumbled on the right time. Shout out to the good people over at Viator for hooking it up. Sean, we've been talking about it recently, but I've already got a trip lined up next year to Asia, and I can't wait to use Viator when I'm out there.
I used their travel experiences when I was in Spain earlier this year, which was a blast, and I'll most likely do the same thing next spring.
Bo, that's amazing. And I personally also can't wait to use it for my upcoming trip to France because I heard you can explore over 300,000 plus travel experiences through their app. And plus, they have real traveler reviews so you can get insider information from people who've already been on the experiences.
That's right. Plus, free cancellation helps you plan for the unexpected. And Viator also offers 24/7 customer service, so you know you'll get support at any hour if things aren't going as planned. So to all our listeners, download the Viator app now and use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in the app. Find the perfect travel experiences for you. Do more with Viator. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sean, what are your self-care non-negotiables? It's easy to let your priorities slip, and even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it.
You know, for me, I prioritize sleep and exercise over anything else. And even when I get super busy with work or, have back-to-back busy weekends, sleep and exercise are the two things I try to never sacrifice, because when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever.
That's right. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bomani today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bomani.
All right, Dominique, I was talking about how your pops, he really felt like he was hitting you with that true game right there. Mm-hmm. He was like, look, son, I'm gonna pitch you with a true game. Somebody talking about how loose your hips are and what your booty look like, don't go to school there, right? But I get the feeling too, he probably sounded flustered, but I also imagine him like pulling you in close. Like, hey, man, I don't think you should go to school there.
It was on the ride home from this combine. And it was a smaller combine. I was obviously a standout athlete. So it wasn't like I had nothing to worry about. It was just like, we can cross this one off. Right. It was more like, hey, you gonna get some offers? We can cross this one off. He's like, this school? I ain't like the way the coaches talk about your hips and booty. Like, well, the rest of the coaches was thinking the same thing. They just had the good sense not to say it to this old military man on the sideline.
But I was thinking about this. Me and my man Rod would talk about this. I want you to think about this in your life. And it's about some things in life are sacred, right? And I don't think we always stop and think about all the things that are sacred. Do you know something that's truly sacred? A little something called true game. Have you ever in your life had a moment, and whatever synonym for true game it is that we talk about, where somebody really pulled you in close and was like, look, man, I'm going to lay some true game on you right now. And it was not true game?
I feel like most of the times people have tried to lay true game on me, it has not been true game.
Oh, see, I'm in a different world. I guess I don't know who you was raised around. You know what I'm saying? Not question who you was raised by. But anytime somebody is taking the time to come to me and be like, look, I'm going to hit you with some true game right now. I'll give you an example of me hitting somebody with some true game, okay? I was a little in the Bahamas about a month ago, and I was playing a couple months ago. I'm playing blackjack. There's a kid at the table, and he's trying to decide what to do on 16, right? And he's like, do you hit on 16? Do you let 16 go? And I told him, I was like, you should hit on 16. You should hit on 16 every time, right? But in the end, that comes down to how you feel when you see that 16 out there. If you can handle that feeling of sitting on that 16, you go ahead and do that, right? But whatever you do, I'm going to lay some true game on you right now. Whatever you do, that's what you do when you see a 16. Either you hit or you stay. But whatever it is, that is what you do there. As the older you get in your life, you need to minimize the number of decisions that you have to make. And that's one less decision you make. That's a reaction. 16, this is what I do. And you know what? And the woman dealing in blackjack that looked like Lauryn Hill from 1996.
Wow.
And she just looked at me and she told me, that was like, she said, you're very wise. Because I hit him with that true game. He was a perfect stranger, but the concept of true game is so sacred that you can't play around with true game. You can give somebody some true game or what you think is true game, but if you advertise it as true game, it has to be true game. And even the most like biggest rapscallion of us all, even he got respect for the concept of true game.
Should.
Even he got respect. I think sometimes cats themselves, some cats ain't got a great true game radar, but they not wasting your time when they giving you true game. I bet you Ray Lewis hit you with some true game.
Oh, absolutely. Ray Lewis hit me with lots of true game. None of that true game I'm going to share with y'all.
I also can imagine that Ray Lewis also occasionally hit you with some false game. I think the thing that might happen with somebody like Ray Lewis is he might tell you everything is true game.
Oh, yeah. He got a preacher spirit. And his heart is in a good place all the time. I think the reason why I feel like most people that have given me true game were not, or thought they would give me true game, weren't giving me true game, is because there's a level of confidence that you have to have in the game that you're given to be able to say that it's true game or even present it as true game.
Yes.
And I believe that somebody who is given true game, they've tested this and it was passed on to them, and then they tested it multiple times that they can give it off. But there's also some people that have an inflated view of themselves. And so they think they give it true game, and it ain't true game. So oftentimes when somebody come over to me and be like, hey, I got some true game for you, or whatever their presentation is, I'm like, this about to be some bullshit.
See, I feel like all the true game that I've been presented with has actually and legitimately been true game, right? And I'm happy that it's happened. Now, I will say this. Some of the true game that I have been offered has become antiquated.
Yeah,
shall we say.
That's true.
There are some things that we could do at different points in time that we now look back on and realize the true game to that true game is that you scaring the girls. But at a different time, if worst come to worst, just blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
That was true game back then. We have had the true game convention has met, and we have that's on the red line copy. We have stricken through. That is no longer true game. the warranty on that true game has expired. That's what we need to do. We need to write down every time somebody gives us true game, and then come back every 5-10 years just to reconvene and make sure that true game is still true.
There should be a true game book where every chapter is about a different sector of adult decisions and behaviors. And I do think the dating chapter has to be digital copy, because we're going to have to keep that changing, baby. We're going to have to keep changing that routinely.
Yes. Now, I want to give your boy Jerry Jones a measure of true game. Segway. Quarterback ain't going to get no cheaper, homie. It's not. The price of the brick just keep going up. What is he doing?
It's obvious, too. And I also feel like Dak Prescott, it seems more and more, and he's been quiet, his camp is quiet, and we've all kind of shifted from saying Jerry don't want to give him the deal he deserved to now it seems like Dak don't want to take a deal, because it would make great sense. There really is no reason for him to sign a contract now. If every time he came up for free agency, if you remember, it became a big media story because Jerry was fucking around with him. And we all were like, why are you doing this? And then the last time he did it, Dak was like, all right, I'm going to sign this contract, but you're going to give me a no trade and a no franchise. And I believe it's possible that at that moment, when he was dealing with all this media foolishness around him, he was like, all right, we're going to put an end to this. I'm going to hold them over the barrel. And now he's already gotten, Kirk Cousins got an enormous contract off an Achilles tear. There's no injury that can degrade Dak's value at this point. It'd have to be some tremendous unseen injury that could degrade his value. And he could be the best free agent quarterback with the longest runway to go forward that we've ever seen in football. No sense.
Look, Dak, we talked about this with Mina. Dak got the stomach for it, right? That's the thing. Kirk Cousins also. They willing to play this all the way out, right? That's the thing with Dak I don't think they bet on, is that he got the stomach to ride this all the way out. I feel like we don't give Dak nearly enough credit for all the money he's Darrelle Revis in this, right? In fact, I think Darrelle Revis got all that money, got a Super Bowl ring, made the Hall of Fame before we turned 38. Incredible. Darrelle Revis is Sean Gilbert's nephew, and Sean Gilbert was like, watch me work.
Sean Gilbert, let me put you on game.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Darrelle Revis is a man who received a heaping helping of true game. And somebody somewhere came to Dak Prescott and they gave him all the true game, right? Dak Prescott had his leg popping out his skin and still got that money, right? And this is then got the no franchise tag, all the stuff that we talking about. And now he gonna get paid so much no matter what. There's no way that you would expect after watching what happened in Panama City Beach that man would be so equipped with so much true game. Was that unnecessary?
There are certain. This is also another book that we have to write. Is the statute of limitations on bringing up old shit.
Look, what you think caused Dak more places in that draft that year? The DUI or that video of getting his ass kicked by the white boys at Panama City Beach?
Oh my gosh, yeah, Dak. Well, Dak from the South. He should have known that not all of them are scared of us.
Dog, they were fearless. They had also, to be fair, it was like 4 of them, but they stomped him out at Panama City Beach. It never dawned on me that man could become this man.
Yep, and him falling to that well-built team and Tony Romo getting hurt was a hell of a start to a career too. So yes. I'm not so sure that ass whooping did help him out in the long run. That might have been a beneficial ass whooping.
But you're asking, what is the statute of limitations on an ass whooping? That's a great question. Robin Ventura will tell you apparently 31 years is not enough because he's still living down that time and Nolan Ryan whooped his ass.
Yeah, there are different factors. So like for an ass whooping, I think is how bad the ass whooping, the reason for the ass whooping. We have to figure out the proper equation. Who was involved in the ass whooping? Like right. All these things matter. And I think Dak Prescott, and also what else you do in your life. Dak Prescott has done enough things, Bomani Jones, that you can let the ass whooping lapse.
And also the level or the severity of injury. The less severe the ass whooping, the longer it lives in our memory, right? Like when Michael Westbrook broke Stephen Davis's face, we ain't really talk about that no more. Like Rudy T don't have to live down, though I have lots of unpopular thoughts about what happened to Rudy Tomjanovich. I will simply say, don't run behind people in a fight. If there's a lesson to be learned, that's not to blame anybody. I'm just telling you how to stay safe. What Dak Prescott should have done at Panama City Beach, apparently, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't learn that this is what he should have done for almost 10 more years. But clearly what he should have done, oh, damn, he ain't have it. He should have had a hat on, because if he had a hat on, he could have took his hat off and threw it up in the air.
Signals.
And then the Black Avengers will roll up by air, by land, by sea, because it's the 1 year anniversary of when them boys was down there in Alabama. Look, some of them was acting a donkey. Like, we ain't never gonna pretend like hitting that woman with that chair was okay. I just had no idea that throwing the hat up was the signal. Domonique, do you know how many of our brothers may have been in distress and we had no idea because nobody put us up on that true game? Apparently part of true game in Montgomery is, like, I'm gonna tell you some true game, man. The white folks run up on you, throw your hat up.
I don't wear hats that much. I'm going to start. It depends on what part of the world I'm in. But if I go down to Montgomery, Alabama, you know what I'm not leaving the house with? No. Without a bat signal on my head to throw that thing up.
Just like get you like a hat from the gas station that don't cost no money, and then you just like keep it on your belt line. And so if the white people start acting bad, you ain't got to have a hat on. You just go make a big deal out of it, and then here come everybody. Like, you remember when Aquaman jumped out the one boat and swam over there?
That's incredible.
Like, that boy, can you imagine having those lungs?
I know that we kind of laugh and joke about this as a moment in civil rights history, but it is kind of a moment in civil rights history, because can you imagine any situation in the history of America where a black man can hit a white woman with a chair and they not get charged? Like, none of them, only people got charged. Like, it was absurd what went on in that fight. I'm certainly not defending anybody in that. Well, yeah, you should defend yourself, but I'm not defending hitting anybody with a chair. But the idea that we got to a point where that could happen and then there's no repercussions, it's something.
Right. But here's the other part, though. Do you realize how powerful the racism has to be in a given locale, municipality, borough, city, that a fight like that happens and all the black people know that we must come together to fight to save this? Because look, I've been a lot of places where a black person and a white person got in a fight and I watched them all. Okay. I watched them all. When I'm in Vegas and it's a boxing match and the Mexicans look unhappy, I go the other way. You know what I'm saying?
That's a hell of a point. I didn't consider that. It's like the people who joined in, they had no information. Their only information was, God, the only information was, oh, there's a black man getting jumped on by white people. At no point did it cross their mind that he deserved this ass whooping. They all assumed that this is racially motivated violence. It was right.
and hold on. Nobody came to break it up.
No.
Well, I guess there was a little breaking up at first, right? I think there was. But like when the dudes like 7 deep rolled up from way over there, one of our brothers is in trouble. White people, I don't know if y'all understand this, but this is a common point of discussion amongst black people. And it's the truth. We don't like each other that much. It take a lot to get this level of unity. People don't like each other that much, but they all came together that day.
It's amazing. I didn't even think about that. And also, like, it's a thing that, like, in this political season, that's also like forefront in my mind is where I think that some white people don't know that they not white people. To the man, it's like they fine with letting your poor ass go to jail for getting into the fight with some black people. You know what? Correct. That's fine. It's a casualty. You're not going to lose no sleep over. But let somebody come for that real power. Like, nah. And the funny thing or the wild thing is the ones who put on their shield and grab their sword and fight to defend the status quo are the ones that they are fine with saying, oh, no, you go to jail. Stop messing with them good black folk.
That's right.
You better stop it.
I mean, they're the same as the soldiers in every other fight, right?
Very true. Fair point.
You know what I mean? Like that's they're the same boys that was going to Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? That's the same boys that speak Korean. They, you know, like that's the game they play. But let me tell you this: the brothers was not hearing it that day. The sisters wasn't hearing it neither. Like because it also had an inflection point where for the black people, the victory was in hand at that point. It's kind of like when Obama ran in 2008 and all the black people endorsed Hillary Clinton because they didn't think Obama really had no chance. But then once people realized that he was there, everybody got on board. It was some people out there that wasn't really so sure about that until we were squarely in charge. You know, until they was like the margin for victory was high. And then they showed up down there ready for action.
I remember that SNL skit where Chappelle and Rock were like, they were not surprised. I have to be like, after Trump got elected, I have to be honest, I was still surprised there, but I was less surprised by that than I was by Barack Obama becoming president. As I guess, if you think about from before any of us knew who he was to him coming on the scene, and obviously the surprise for the Trump thing was from the night before to the morning after. So it's like a faster distance. But if you take from when I heard the name Barack Obama to him winning the election, that distance that I traveled was incredible.
So I think this is kind of the comparison here, right? Obama winning in 2008 is kind of like the worst to first St. Louis Rams with the greatest show on turf, right? Like after a while, they started flinging that ball around and you're like, yo, okay, I think they're going to make it happen, right? Hillary Clinton blew a 28-3 lead to the New England Patriots, except the Patriots quarterback wasn't Tom Brady. The Patriots quarterback, I can't even think of like what the example is. The Patriots quarterback was Vern Troyer, right? Like I can't believe they went out here and they won the Super Bowl with Vern Troyer. So, which is to say, I think if you stretch it out over time, the Obama surprise was bigger. But I tell you, I took a nap that night of the Trump election, and I woke up and the game had not been decided, and I got really nervous.
Yeah, all of us was like, what?
I was like, "Oh, wait a minute!"
Yeah.
And then it was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? It's they're calling it? What do you mean? What do you mean?"
It didn't make any sense.
It never. I will never forget. 2016 is the year I went to Paris to interview Ta-Nehisi Coates, and that was in April. And I asked him about Trump, and he was like, "I'm not talking about it." Right? He's like, "This isn't serious. This is silly. I'm not giving it any time." 7 months later,
Leader of the free world.
wow. Dog,
So-
that was wild.
If I take you back to let's say 2015, or I guess it would have to be further than that. Take you back to 2010 just to be safe. And I said a reality show or an actor or a performer, a celebrity of some kind, a white male is going to be president, or a black man named Barack Obama is going to be president. Which one do you think you would have a harder time wrapping your head around? Like, I'd be like, they did it with Reagan. They could do it again. Like, that seems realistic to me.
Yeah. No, I got you. I understand exactly. Like, what you're saying makes perfect sense according to that time horizon. But according to that example that you give, like, I
guess
the
Donald Trump was a
entertainer-
celebrity back then. So I could have,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I could have named him.
Yeah, he's like the guy behind door number one in the way that you put it. So if you named it Donald Trump, I would probably back then have said, no, I think Donald Trump has a better chance of winning. However, what I had not realized or would not have realized at that point was the full extent of his get down. And I did not think that the full extent of his get down would ever make it possible that such a man could be the president of the United States.
The funny thing is the full extent of his get down is what made it possible. I think if he would have tried to stay, like, before he started doing the birtherism and all that stuff, if he'd have tried to, like, play the middle and, like, present himself like a legitimate politician, there's no way it actually works out for him. The fact that he was like, hey, I don't want to win this. I say do whatever. That seems to be more like what worked for him. That he was like, oh, y'all like this act?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it. Look, man, when he found out he won, he was like, in Eddie Murphy Delirious, he talking about white people. Hey, we're gonna vote for Jesse Jackson, and then they wake up like, what do you mean he fucking won? That's how Donald Trump felt about himself.
I can't imagine. That's not a job that I would ever want. I don't know what type of people want that job, but
couldn't pay me enough.
I don't know. It just seems stressful all the time, and also impossible.
Domonique, you were the fastest person that you knew, and you didn't want to run track. No, you don't want to be the president of the United States. The way you do calculus is understood. It's known and it's understood.
Oh, goodness. Nah, your point about being good at stuff was like, yeah, I want to do stuff that I'm good at. And I figured out a long time. I think I've told this on this show a couple times. Is around 7th grade. Girl that I liked didn't like me. She liked the pretty boy. And I was like, I'm not ugly, but I can't be that. You know what I can be, though? The best motherfucker in this whole town at this. And that's going to work for me. That is going to be my strategy from here going on is I am not going to be concerned about being the flies through the round. But I'm going to be better than all y'all at this.
Get you a thing.
Yeah.
Get you a thing. Get you a gimmick. Learn how to juggle.
It worked when she started calling me when I signed with the Ravens. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, good to see you. You want to come to a game? Sure, come to the game. Why don't you bring Bruce, too? That was the boy that she liked. I didn't say all that. It would be funny, though.
Yeah. Why don't you bring him? Yeah. Let him see a real player in action.
That would have been some real petty shit to bring up some beef from the 6th grade.
Yes. I know Michael Jordan would have.
Oh, yeah.
And I know it because Michael Jordan did it when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He set them all out there.
What an absurd thing to do.
It's a sicko, man.
But how dope are you that the dude showed up?
Yeah. I mean, you would show up if Michael Jordan invited you any damn way, I guess. I told you about the time I interviewed Michael Jordan.
No.
Yeah, it was for a Gatorade thing, and then his people squashed it, but they mad at me. I still sat on the bus for 2 hours with Michael Jordan, one-on-one conversation. It's pretty cool. It was at his high school. He was filming a Gatorade commercial. And so we were doing a podcast series the podcast series had Serena and Eli and all their people in it. And they thought they was going to put Michael Jordan in it, but his people came and said, nope, he will not be included in this podcast. And I don't know where the tapes are. They buried them shits.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, I have to say.
That's pretty cool.
But that is Domonique Foxworth. Check him out on the Domonique Foxworth Show, available where all fine podcasts are sold. My brother, I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now, and ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. Sean and I are going on vacation until, I don't remember the exact date, but it's the first Monday of the NFL season. We'll be back, I promise. Thank you so much for all your good times and everything else, but we need our break. Sean, you handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Give us your stories of why you quit football. And if you have called before, call again. Your stories were good. It was just a tough audience that week, but we need more of your stories. 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. Oh, and I forgot, we got some YouTube content during the vacation. Go to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. And we'll talk to you guys in a month or so. Take it easy.